His name is Bill Browder, and he wrote a letter to the president, and it is the cover of the New York Times right now. Bill is on the phone with us to kind of go over some advice for the president. Bill, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
What is it like to be the number one enemy of arguably the most dangerous man on the planet?
Well, I think there are probably better things to be than that, but this wasn't something that I chose. That this was something that happened because of what Putin did. The reason that I'm an enemy of Vladimir Putin is that he and his cronies killed one of my colleagues and friends, a young man named Sergei Magnitsky, who was a lawyer working for me in Russia, after Sergei uncovered a massive government corruption scheme and thought, as a patriot, he would expose it. Instead, Putin's henchmen arrested him, tortured him for 358 days, and killed him 8.5 years ago. And I've been on a mission to get justice for Sergei, which has led to, as you mentioned, the Magnitsky Act, which imposes asset freezes and visa sanctions on Putin and his cronies for a variety of crimes, including killing Sergei. And because Putin is a kleptocrat, he's a guy who steals money from his people in large quantities, and he keeps that money in the West, he feels completely exposed by this piece of legislation. And in response to that, he's tried to have the legislation repealed, as you mentioned, sending his emissaries to Trump Tower, and also trying to destroy me and all the people around me.
Why are you still alive?
Well, Putin is a killer. He kills at home. He kills abroad. The one thing he doesn't like to do is face consequences for his crimes. And he hasn't figured out a way of killing me and doing it in a way that he can get away with. And so what they've tried to do, instead of killing me abroad, is having me arrested, taken back to Russia, and killing me in Russia, where he has full ability to get away with that. And so they're now on their seventh abusive attempt to use Interpol to have me arrested. I live in England, and they've tried a dozen times in various different ways to apply to the British police for mutual legal assistance. They're suing me all over the world. They're trying to do everything they can to get me back to Russia, to discredit me, to have me extradited, to impoverish me, to do whatever they can to destroy me, so that they can destroy me in a way that's plausibly deniable and doesn't put them in further sanctions or other political consequences.
Bill, you wrote an open letter to the president, and you said there are a few things you need to know about Putin, and I'd like to just go over them with you. First, Putin has a weak hand and is always bluffing.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So what do we have here? What is Russia? Russia is a country with an economy the size of the state of New York. Russia is a country with a military budget which is 90% less than the U.S. military budget. And that's assuming that whatever is in their military budget isn't being stolen. And I would bet that 80% of the military budget is being stolen. Russia is a country which is just a minnow in the world. It's not a serious player in any way, shape, or form. And so for us to be meeting with Putin on an equal level is just absurd. It doesn't make any sense. He's a pipsqueak in comparison with the United States. And so he's bluffing like hell. He's got this pair of twos, and the United States is a full house. And for anyone to sort of put them on an equal stage gives him an enormous amount of credibility, which he doesn't deserve.
Putin is a bald-faced liar.
So Putin, as we've seen, and this is not me making this assessment. This is just his lies are legendary. Remember when he invaded Crimea? He said, "No, these weren't our troops; they were little green men." When he shot down MH17, he said, "No, it wasn't our missiles; it was the Ukrainians' missiles." When he cheated in the Olympics with doping, nobody cheated, even though there's like absolute documentary evidence of it. Everything he said, we're going to get rid of chemical weapons in Syria. They've not done anything about chemical weapons in Syria. Putin lies, and then lies some more.
You actually compare him to Pablo Escobar.
Yes, he's an organized criminal on massive proportions. The only difference between Putin and Escobar is that Putin has got nuclear weapons.
Bill, I wish you the best, and I pray for you and your family that you stay safe. I don't know how or why you would travel over to Europe and leave the safety of the United States, but we wish you all the best. And thanks for being on the program, and thank you for being brave enough to stand up. I mean, was there? Are you married, Bill?
I am. I don't like to talk about my family.
No. I just wanted to know. Was there ever a time that you and your wife, or that you just thought, man, I don't know if I can do this? I mean, you put up, the stakes are really high, and people don't do what you've done.
Well, what Putin and his cronies did to Sergei Magnitsky, my lawyer, they killed him as my proxy. He basically would be alive today if he hadn't been working for me, and they killed him as my proxy. And he stood up for me, and it's my duty to stand up for him. And I couldn't live with myself if I didn't do that.
Wow.
So I will continue to fight Putin until the bitter end, and continue to call for justice for the murder of Sergei Magnitsky and many other people. And I'm not going to back down.
You are a very rare man, and it is a privilege to talk to you, Bill. Thank you so much.